my three spirit babies. So it all started in 2016. I got pregnant for the first time, and I had a miscarriage at 6 weeks. I had connected with the baby. It was a girl. Her energy was very clear. She came with her name. That was all, but it was a very, very strong feeling, and it's a name I couldn't have invented. I'm not going to reveal the name now, but you'll get to know what it is soon. We were very excited, and everything went well until the miscarriage. I've tried getting some answers, but I didn't really get to know why it didn't stick, why she didn't stay. But anyway, that was it. The next cycle, immediately after the miscarriage, I got pregnant again. My husband and I were so convinced that we were going to have a girl that we thought a girl was coming. And within 2 or 3 weeks of pregnancy, I felt the energy was so different. It felt thick in my aura, in my space, and I felt something was unusual. It felt, this sensation when you have someone behind you in an elevator, in a lift, that's very close, or if you have a man walking behind you. So I always had this feeling that there was a man standing behind me. I just realized I was expecting a boy. So I told my husband, I said, you know what? It's a boy. We've been thinking about a girl, but no. The soul of the first baby girl was still around for about 2 months. In my new pregnancy, I kept feeling that soul lingering around, feeling so angry. She was very upset that somehow someone else took her space, someone else was going to come instead of her, and she was really, really upset about that. It took me a bit of time, but then I asked her to leave because we had to move on. Everybody had to move on. So around 2 months in that next pregnancy, she went, and I started living fully this new pregnancy. I did a lot of clearing during my pregnancy, a lot of karmic baggage, family lineage, transgenerational baggage. So the baby made me work, and at that time I was working a lot, even as a healer, as a light worker and a therapist. And what was fascinating is that I could tell when the baby was channeling with me or when he was not around, because that was a concern. I work with very heavy traumas of sexual abuse and rapes and kidnappings. And at some point I was wondering, is my baby witnessing all these terrifying things and traumatic events of life? And that's when I got to know that in some cases the baby is there, and in some he's waiting in another realm. He's waiting for me to be done so that he can come back. So that was reassuring. But these are the kind of interactions that I have with the soul while I'm pregnant. So of course, at 4 months, we got the confirmation that it was a boy. We had shortlisted names, but at that time we were still, the one name had not resonated. What was very interesting is that once we got the confirmation that it was a boy, I connected with the baby. I had put my hands on the belly, and I tried calling the name. So the first name that we had thought of, it went from my brain. I could feel the thought going there, and when I tried to connect with the baby, it would not go beyond my throat. It's like the name or the energy of the name would not resonate. It would not pass through. And when I called his name, that's Adam, the energy went straight into the womb, and I knew that was it. So after that, there was no looking for anything else. And it was very interesting because the baby came almost 2 weeks after the due date. And trust me, I tried everything and nothing worked. Nothing would make him come. I even had set all the balls next to me, and I was creating such strong vibrations, trying to break the waters. And I did a connection and a channeling, and the guides at that time took me out and said, "This is not your space. There's nothing for you to do. Basically, your son is in a good place. There's no specific fear. There's nothing for you to work about. It's divine timing." I was like, okay. And the very funny part is that my sister and I think 7,000 kilometers away from one another, gave birth on the same day. So she has a daughter and I have a son who are born on that same day. So it was a very interesting wink regarding the divine timing. So that was the story with the first one. My second one, my daughter, I had this envy. I wanted another child. I felt her energy very strongly. She would come and visit me whenever I would think about her. I remember at that time my husband said no, he was not ready to have another child. And she came and told me what I had to do to get pregnant. And the message was that we had to get back to the same kind of love as of the beginning. And I was thinking, yes, okay, fine, that's a great message, but what do I do from there? I thought, okay, what has changed? I knew I could not control whatever my husband had become, but I thought about me. What did I change over the years? And one element came very clearly is that in the beginning, I saw only the good in him, and with time and routine and habits, I started looking at his flaws, looking at the negative, and criticizing more and more. So the more I would criticize, the more I would focus on it, the less he would feel appreciated, and it started creating a bit of a gap. So I decided to bring myself back to that, to seeing, or at least to focus only on the good and leave the negative, or what I considered as negative. And it's true, the more I looked at it, the more I started admiring him again and falling in love with him again, because I kept aside the downside. And within 2 months, he was ready. He said yes. And our relationship was back to being all lovey-dovey and pleasant. Pleasant in a way that was back to the beginning. So that was very interesting. And we got pregnant immediately. During the pregnancy, same, I did a bit of work. What was interesting is that the first child, I worked a lot. I did a lot of channeling, and I could feel that he was working with me, as I said, at times. Whereas for the second pregnancy with my daughter, it's almost as if my channel had been closed. I had to stop or reduce work. And it was a very different feeling. The idea was to really focus on something else and work a bit differently. And same thing, I did some work because, of course, the first trimester is always, the nausea, the fatigue and everything. By the way, I'm going to make a post about that, about how to regulate energetically the nausea and fatigue and constipation and all of that. So that will be in the next video or in another video. So that was it. And now, baby number 3. So I discovered I was pregnant earlier on this year. And when I connected to the baby, because it happened really fast. So when I connected to the baby, to my surprise, it was the same soul as the first baby, that little girl with whom we had a miscarriage. And it was the same energy, same signature, same name. She came with her name. So she's, again, one that comes with her name forward. She's very, very clear about that. And she comes with determination. I wouldn't say that anger, but I can feel that passion in her, that determination. And she moves things around. So this is where we are, and I'm now almost 4 months pregnant. And there's a lot more to come. Life is full of surprises. But I wanted to share with you this story because it is, for me, it's really an intense joy, and it's a great surprise to. I never thought I was okay. It was not a trauma for me to have gone through the miscarriage. I was okay with letting go of that soul, accepting that something went wrong, whether biologically, energetically, karmically, whatever it was. I was fine with it. And I never really expected that soul to come back, because also I had a boy and then a girl, and she didn't. And to my surprise, she's back as baby number 3. So it makes me very curious as to why now. So I'm going to investigate or try to find out or ask and connect to see if I get some answers about why it happened now and not before. Is it going to have an incidence within the family, with the first 2 children, their relations as siblings, or all of that. So this is where I am. That's my story with my 3 spirit babies, and I'm very happy about it. I love to have such a conscious pregnancy, a conscious connection, a very clear connection with the souls before conception, during conception, and even after. Once they are born, sometimes I still connect with them, channel a bit of light for them, and trying to guide them with the best of my abilities.